Greetings. I would like to have a conversation about, the other day I was watching a movie, and in the movie, this young lady was turning 18, and I think she was at work, and she and her boss was having some type of conversation, and the boss was saying to her, like, oh, you need to grow up. And I was watching a video by one of those social media person, and she stated in the video that it's time for us to grow up. Like, I don't know if she said the universe or whatever want us to grow up. And I don't know. I just thought about it. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean? It's time to grow up. And based on this concept, or in the society that we're living, when people said it's time to grow up, it's like they want you to act more mature, or maybe responsible for your actions, your behavior. um, but then if you think about it on a deeper level, like, what is growing up? It's not something. Sorry, I have to pause a bit because there was a bike going by. It's kind of loud, as you hear. Just people's just speaking loudly around me. So, but anyway, so it's like, yeah, this growing up thing, is time to grow up. So I want to know, what exactly is growing up? Is it that your body gonna physically mature overnight in a second? Or is it that your level of thinking is going to change in an instant when someone's saying it's time to grow up? Like, now you turn 18, it's time to grow up, it's time to be an adult. Um, so I'm asking this question, what does that mean? And the answer that I got when I asked, even though I think it's so foolish, to me, it's so foolish. Like, one cannot grow up in a second or in a day just because you turn 18 or 19 or 21. One cannot start acting more mature, because how we behave and how we react is based on our level of consciousness, and that is not going to change in a second or in a night. That could take a lifetime for a person's level of consciousness to change or expand, or for a person's level of awareness to expand. So, and what I mean by that is, all right, you have a physical body, which we experience as it ages in stages, and we have a mind, right? And the mind is the part that you act and you behave, or this persona called the mind is how you act and behave according to your level of awareness. So how you behave is according to your level of awareness. How you treat others and treat yourself, and things that you think or may perceive, is according to your level of awareness. Now you have a soul, right? And the soul is what is experiencing through the body. So we here living a life, and the soul is experiencing this life through the physical vessel. And the soul mature based on the experiences that the soul experiences. Now, the mind is fed or feed by the spirit. So it's what the mind is able to handle, if you want to use that word, is how the spirit feeds the mind. So the spirit feeds the mind little by little by little by little. It's like teaching a child, because your mind, the mind is like a child, and the spirit is what's feeding the mind. And that's how your level of awareness expand. So when someone says, oh, it's time for you to grow up, now I look at it like, it's what does that mean? It's pure nonsense. Like, if you're 18-year-old and you're just now experiencing life. How are you going to grow up because you turn 18 or 19 or 21 or whatever? You have adults that are old, that are in their 80s, and their mind is as a child because their level of awareness is small, not very expanded. So that has nothing to do with age. One cannot grow up overnight. One cannot suddenly become aware of things that they weren't aware of in a day just because they turn into another number chronologically. So these are things that I think about now that I never thought about before. You know why? Because my awareness is expanding. See that? So now I look at things in a different way. Like I would have never had this conversation or even thought of having this conversation 10 years from 10 years and before, or 5 years ago. Because as your awareness expands, you start to see things in a different light. You start, as your awareness expands, you start to receive more information, more wisdom, not even knowledge, wisdom, because it's coming from within yourself. That's when I question myself and I'm asking myself, like, what does that mean? It's time for you to grow up. You need to grow up. Maybe the proper saying that we should say is like, you have to start taking responsibilities for your actions, right? We need to start taking responsibilities for our actions. But even that is affected by your maturity. So, yeah, we should just let people be who they are until they get to wherever they get to at whatever stage in their life or whatever stage in this universe. Because we cannot just grow up. That doesn't make sense. That's something that society creates. That's just a concept that society creates. There's no such thing as growing up. We could only evolve. Our mind could only evolve. Our soul could only evolve. We're having an experience of evolving, not growing up. Evolve. And evolving is based on the experiences that we're experiencing, or whatever experience that person has throughout its life, the soul have throughout its time, right? Which could be infinite amount of experiences. The soul grows based on experiences that the soul experience. So I think we need to stop telling people you need to grow up. You need to grow up because there's no such thing. We're just continuous a cycle of what society creates by telling people, oh, act like an adult. What does that mean? That's another thing too. I remember I was at the market the other day and I was like playing with this rope. I was playing this rope and this lady came and was standing there and she had a baby and the baby started playing with the rope as well. And the guy said to me, stop playing with the rope. Stop doing that. And I'm like, wait, but the baby's doing it. And he's like, well, that's a baby. You're an adult. So I'm thinking like, what? Just because I'm adult, I shouldn't play? Like I shouldn't have fun? So these are the things that I'm talking about. Like, it's the way society is programming, and then we continue to program by and the same cycle by passing that down onto other people. No, it doesn't matter what age you are chronologically. We should always play. Play is a form of life. It's like having fun. Nowadays, people think adults is having fun is going out to drink, going out to a bar, or things that we do sometimes that like are not even good for our vessel. But I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But there's nothing wrong with going to a park and playing on a swing like a child. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing absolutely wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with going outside and playing in the dirt or playing in a tree or climbing trees. There's nothing wrong with that. As doing that as a grown up, if you want to call it that. It doesn't matter what the physical vessel look like. It's the soul that's want to experience and evolve, not the physical body, because we're not our physical body. But anyway, that's all. That's what I had to say about that. Like, next time you want to tell someone or tell your child to grow up, think about it. What does that mean to grow up? So we're asking kids to be what? Dead inside? Not to have fun? To be grown up to what? Take what? Go get a job and start living your life. Go get a job so you can support yourself. Like, that's what life is all about. That's not what life is all about. That's just a program. So I think we should stop programming each other or stop continuing the program.